who exactly was Mildred Burke, the titular tough queen of the ring? Since its earliest days, professional wrestling has been dominated by men. From Bruno Sammartino to Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Roman Reigns, wrestling was male-centric. It is only in the last several years, with the rise of stars like Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, that women have become just as popular. However, before any of these names made their mark, there was Mildred Burke, a female wrestler who rose up in the 1930s and took over wrestling. Mildred Burke combined muscles and strength with beauty and femininity. Everyone who watched her perform was in awe. And now there is a biopic about her life called Queen of the Ring, starring Emily Bett Rickards, Josh Lucas, and Walton Goggins, as well as several top-name female wrestlers, such as AEW Toni Storm. So just who was the real-life woman behind the larger-than-life story? Mildred Burke lived a hard life before her wrestling days. Mildred Burke was born Mildred Bliss in Coffeyville, Kansas in 1915. And life was not easy for young Mildred. She was the youngest of 6 kids in a small house, and she was still a preteen when her father left the family, leaving her mother to raise their children alone. Being so young, it was soon just Mildred and her mother, Bertha, all alone, and they ended up in Black Rock, New Mexico. While living there, Mildred got married at just 17 before everyone moved back to Kansas. The trio all got jobs at a small diner, but Mildred soon found an escape from her hard life: wrestling. Mildred loved watching wrestling and dreamed of doing it, but her harsh reality made that impossible. She ended up getting pregnant and giving birth to a son named Joe in 1934. Her husband was now out of the picture too, but then Mildred met a wrestler named Billy Wolfe, played in Queen of the Ring by Josh Lucas. Billy Wolfe had Mildred Burke compete at carnivals. Wolfe would often come in to Mildred Burke's diner, and when she found out who he was, Burke begged him to train her. Billy Wolfe could only laugh, dismissing her because of her size. Burke didn't let the rejection get her down. Instead, she told Wolfe that she wanted to be a wrestler more than anything, and she knew she could do it. Mildred Burke wouldn't take no for an answer, so Billy Wolfe finally gave in and took the aspiring young wrestler to his gym. Burke thought she would be training with other women, but Billy Wolfe put a man in the ring with her and told him to body slam her so hard that she quit. It didn't work. Instead, she took the man down and pinned him. Knowing how serious Burke now was, Wolfe trained her, building up her body in the gym, as he also taught her how to be a professional wrestler. When she was ready, Wolfe took her to carnivals, where he'd set up a ring, and as a barker, try to get attendees to spend their money in an attempt to pin Mildred. Over time, she wrestled 150 men and lost only 1 time. More impressive, these matches weren't fixed like today. The wrestling was real. Mildred Burke held the women's championship for 20 years. After the 1935 carnival season was over, it was time for the 20-year-old Mildred Burke to move from small-town fairs to the arena setting. She continued to wrestle and defeat men, which led to a lot of recognition from the local media. But there finally came the moment where it was time for Mildred Burke to wrestle a woman. In 1937, after losing to champion wrestler Clara Mortensen several times, she defeated her and became the promotion's women's champion. Mildred Burke held the title for 2 decades and defended it all over the world. Afterward, she opened her own women's wrestling school in California. Despite the accomplishments she had, Burke didn't have it easy. Not long after they met, Burke and Wolfe married, despite him being twice her age. However, after she left him, when she discovered that he was cheating on her, he would interfere in her bookings. Thankfully, this wasn't a setback to Mildred Burke's legacy. Although she died in 1989 at the age of 73, what she meant to professional wrestling didn't die. She was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and now, 36 years after her passing, she is being celebrated again with a feature film.